During the Civil War, I was taken hostage, confused and scared where I'm going, how I'm going to find my future, what I'm going to do. No English whatsoever. I was working between 12 to 13 hours a day for only $400 a month. With my kids, dark skin, I was worried and scared. Hey, my name is Jamal, and this is my Berta beginning.
Welcome to My Berta Beginning, a podcast about people from all over the world who have chosen to make the province of Alberta their home. My name is Mystique Mahoza, and in each episode, I'll be guiding you through the story of a different immigrant to Alberta. We'll find out where they came from, what brought them here, and learn a little bit more about the province from people seeing it for the first time. Today, we'll be looking at Alberta through the eyes of Jamal Jimmy Hamzy. Jamal was born in the early 60s in Lebanon, a small country of just under 7 million people, about twice the size of Prince Edward Island, located in the Levant, bordered by Syria and the Mediterranean Sea. When Jamal was growing up in Lebanon, life was pretty good. The country was a hub for tourism, agriculture, and banking, earning it the nickname
Switzerland of the Middle East, which is true.
He has lots of great memories about growing up there.
The favorite memories, of course, is the childhood, the friends, the family, the whole town. I mean, lots of memories. If I want to start talking about the memories, I will never finish.
But then the Civil War began.
Then the memories change from beautiful memories to really bad, ugly memories.
In 1975, an attack on a bus of refugees escalated tensions between different factions in the country and sparked a civil war. This war would last 15 years, and its aftershocks are still felt in the country today. One of those ugly memories is when, in his late teens, Jamal was captured and held hostage.
During the Civil War, I was taken hostage. I was in the wrong place, wrong time. And back then, whoever get captured, like your luck is, 10% to get out and be alive. But I was one of the lucky people to get away.
Throughout our interview, Jamal is forthcoming with sharing his stories and experiences in detail. But this is one part of his past he's clearly not keen on revisiting.
I don't want to go in full detail because it's in the past. Like I'm sorry, I don't want to go in full details. It's behind my back.
After this incident, he made up his mind. He would be leaving the country.
I decided to leave the country because it's no safe whatsoever. But after the Civil War, no future. So you must leave the country in order to find better opportunity. Especially back then, I was 18, 19 years old.
At first, he thought of moving to Saudi Arabia, where his father was working at the time. But he wasn't sure he'd have the best prospect of finding work there.
Back then, we had no internet. We couldn't do any research about any countries. But we have lots of Lebanese people who came to Canada in the early ages, and they get really successful.
During the Civil War, the Canadian government set up a special program for Lebanese immigrants. There was a large Lebanese migration into the country at the time, and Jamal had heard good things. He even had a sister who was already living in Edmonton, Alberta.
So that's why we thought the better opportunity to come to Canada for a better future.
He quickly put through an application.
I was super lucky back then. I was 18 years old when I applied. Within 6 months, they issued me an immigration visa. And within 6 months, by the time I applied, until I got the visa, and I came to Canada, and I've been here since then.
The opportunity to start life afresh felt amazing. But soon, the reality dawned on him. He would have to leave everyone and everything he'd known, venture out and try to make a life in a foreign country, one where he didn't even speak the language.
When I get my visa, the first 10 days, I was the most happy person in the world. I was excited, jumping. I couldn't believe, yes, I'm going to Canada. But the minute I get to the plane, When the plane took off from the homeland, believe me, the feeling changes. It was mixed with happiness and confused and scared where I'm going, how I'm going to find my future, what I'm going to do. No English whatsoever, not highly educated. Yeah, the feeling was mixed.
Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à Montréal. L'heure est 13h30.
Jamal's first lesson in Canadian geography was a harsh one. After some misinformation from his ticket agent left him stranded one flight away from his final destination.
I was coming to Alberta. To be honest with you, I was broke. No money whatsoever. Certain little amount I have enough for the ticket. And the guy I bought the ticket from in Lebanon, he said, you know what? You arrive to Montreal and you call your family, so easy to be picked up. But I didn't know I have to fly another 3-4 hours to Alberta. So I arrived in Montreal and I couldn't speak any English, any French back then.
With the help of the immigrant desk, he was able to call his sister in Alberta, who got in touch with someone from their hometown that lived in Montreal. They helped him book a flight to his final destination, Edmonton, where he'd begin his new life in the summer of 1983. Soon after arriving, it became clear that it wouldn't be all smooth sailing.
Yeah, it was totally different than I expect in so many ways.
First, there was the racism.
I get treated so well with a lot of people, but for some people, I was disappointed the way I was treated, maybe because of my skin color, or maybe I couldn't speak English back then.
Out of nowhere, Jamal would be shown the middle finger, or as he describes it,
Bad movement with the hand when I'm walking down the street.
Then there was the nature of his job. You see, Jamal's immigration was sponsored by a family. While the details of that relationship weren't clear, what was unmistakable was the fact that he was being taken advantage of. He worked long hours every day in the family's restaurant while making pennies.
Because when I came, I told them the first 2 weeks, I said, well, thank you so much for helping me out. I need to leave and go find my future. They refused. They said, no, we brought you here to help us out. We really need you. Why you want to leave? We want you to stay. When I started working for them, I was very energetic, very excited, planning to work hard for a better future. I worked for the first 20 days without any wages, without getting paid. They said, okay, we're trading, you know. I said, that's fine, no big deal, I don't care. And after that, I was working between 12 to 13 hours a day for only $400 a month. No overtime, no holiday pay, 6.5 days, only half a day off. Well, they offered me a place to stay. That's why maybe I kept my mouth shut.
It was almost 40 years ago, but minimum wage at the time was still $8.40. Young Jamal was making a fraction of what he deserved.
And every time I asked for a little raise, the answer was, this is it, take it or leave it, no discussion.
Nowadays, the settlement process is robust. Agencies, community organization, cultural groups, and more all put together to give newcomers as soft a landing as possible. Back in the early 80s, the landscape wasn't nearly as developed as it is now. But even if it was, would it have made any difference for Jamal? He didn't speak English, and his employers wouldn't even answer questions about how to get a driver's license.
They want to keep my eyes closed so they can take advantage as much as they can. And their place were super busy back then. They can't afford to pay me my full wages. I'm living at your place, charge me rent, I'm okay with that. But give me what I deserve as a human.
The effects of the 80s recession hit Alberta hard. Unemployment rose from 4% to 10%. Quitting the only job he had with the little language skills and education was too difficult of a choice to make. So he stayed there for 2 long years. Eventually, the terrible pay and poor treatment was too much to bear.
So I thought enough is enough. I'd rather sleep outside and keep my dignity.
Jamal didn't take language classes. He simply didn't have the time. But as he began to pick up more English, life started looking up.
To be honest with you, I start feeling comfortable and relaxed the minute I start speaking a little bit of English. I didn't go to school, so I learned English from people on the street.
Although he mentions that no matter how long he's been here,
But that accent, man, I can't get rid of it.
eventually, things started looking up.
Then I went to hairdressing school. I took hairdressing, finished my course. I passed my test, government test, the school test. Things start getting much better.
On a visit back home, he met the woman that would become his wife, Diana.
When I went to Lebanon just for a visit, I wasn't planning to get married or meet anybody. And we just met. I was lucky. After I asked her to say yes. And we've been with each other since then.
Diana joined Jimmy in Edmonton in 1995, and together they began building a life. They had 2 lovely kids, Ramona and Mario. But something was still missing. While Jamal had been working in that restaurant for peanuts, he was dreaming of starting one of his own.
And the idea was in my mind from day one, but I just need the right chance of the right opportunity. And then again, when I came to Canada in 1983, but the only thing I was working on back then is to save as much as I can, to use it as a down payment to start my project. But sadly, how much are you going to save a month by getting paid $400 a month and working 12 hours?
Despite life's many curveballs, he had faith that his persistence would pay off one day.
But I kept it in mind. I thought I'm going to get it one of these days. It took me a long time before I get where I am right now. It took me maybe 20 years, but I knew it's going to come one day. So the first chance I had and saved a little bit of money, to use it as a down payment, I did.
Bow Island is a town of about 2,000 people in Southern Alberta. A sleepy agricultural town, its claim to fame is Pinto McBean, an 18-foot statue of a cowboy-style bean that Medicine Hat Tourism describes as the world's largest and most armed pinto bean. Behind Pinto McBean, on the other side of Highway 3, the provincial highway that cuts through Bow Island, there was a restaurant for sale. Moving from the city of Edmonton, which had a sizable Lebanese community, to being the only non-white family almost 6 hours away in Little Bow Island was a risk.
The first time we came, entering the town, we looked around, we thought, no, this is not going to work at all. Living in a 99.9% town full white people, and we're the only 2 with my kids, dark skin, I was worried and scared. But this opportunity, I see it was the best, and this is the only one back then.
The town sat on the stretch of Highway 3 between the 2 biggest cities in the region, Lethbridge to the west and Medicine Hat to the east. So despite Bow Island's own small population, it could pull customers from the traffic between those cities. The thought of that was scary, but it wasn't nearly as scary as not chasing his dreams. And Jimmy's Drive-In was born in 2003.
I told my wife, I said, okay, I'll make that deal. Within the first 6 months, if anything went wrong and we wasn't treated well and the business wasn't good, we were going back to Edmonton. But I was so surprised. The first few months, we find out that we came to the right and the best community ever. Maybe in Canada, not only in Southern Alberta.
There was a couple.
Their name, Dixie and Doug. They came us with a big bag of clothes, kids' clothes, giving it to us, whatever you need, we can help you. This is a good community. They made us welcome.
Or the anonymous neighbors who would mow their lawn while they were away.
Well, somebody was cutting the grass for us because we're so busy at Jimmy's, and the business was, to be honest, better than I expected. And I was asking around who cut my grass, and everybody tells me you'll never find out. It was like a big relief People like to help each other in this town.
All of this helped make Bow Island somewhere the Hamzy family could really call home.
Well, of course, there's some bad people here and there, but in general, wonderful people. The plan was only 2 or 3 years we can sell the place, but we liked it so much, and we liked the people and the town, the way we were treated. We've been here 18 years. Like I feel I'm one of them.
As helpful as the community was, it was still a struggle to put down roots.
It was a little difficult, especially we don't have anybody to help, no family whatsoever. Like poor kids, they grow up with us at Jimmy's. We couldn't afford to hire a babysitter because we were in debt. And with my wife's help, she was pregnant with my youngest daughter, and she kept going, helping me out at the restaurant until the very last day, a day before Sarah were born. I was asking her, like, stay home, relax. She says, no, the doctor says it's better for me if I keep moving. So the last day, I was going to Jimmy's, and she was coming with me. Before I arrived to the restaurant, she says, no, I think we better turn right to the hospital right now.
Jamal is always eager to talk about the person without whom he says none of this would be possible. His wife, Diana.
Without my wife, I would never get where we are right now. I'm a very lucky man. When I started my own company and bought this place, I went to the lawyer. I said 50-50. He says, you don't have to, Jimmy. I said, I want to. So everything between myself and my wife, 50-50.
The Hamzys are in an interesting position of not only being away from their country, but also being isolated from the diaspora by living in a rural area.
Beginning, it was hard. Leaving Lebanon, coming to a different country, few years between your community, that's a little bit of a relief. But when we came to Bow Island, you're totally away from everybody. It was so difficult for the first 2 or 3 years, frustrating. But right now, this is home. Bow Island people is my family. Even with my kids, my culture back home in Lebanon, I like, and my kids likes it too. But I mean, their culture is Canada too.
Diana especially is glad she lives here, but struggles with being so far away from family and loved ones.
Yeah, I'm still miss my family in Lebanon. Yeah, always I phone him almost every day. And but not the same, of course, not the same. But I miss him so much. But Lebanon, it's not good now. I can't go. I wish. I miss him so much, really.
Over 30 years since he left Lebanon, Jamal is happy with the life he has now. With a family he loves and a business they worked so hard to build. He hopes the ups and downs of his story can inspire other people to achieve their Canadian dream.
As I said, this is the land of opportunity. If you really want to be something, it's up to you. Have a commitment. Keep things in mind that you can do it. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself.
Oh, we forgot to speak about the cold. Coming from the more temperate climate of Lebanon into Alberta was a shock. And Jamal, like many immigrants, has his own winter stories.
Like my first year, I came in August. At the end of August, we had snow. And I said to my sister, I said, oh, winter. She says, no, this is summer. This is August. Snow in August doesn't make any sense. In Lebanon, this singer made a song talking to his sweetheart, saying that it could snow in August and I will never stop loving you because it's impossible. We see it in Canada.
It's a good thing he didn't know how cold it actually gets here, though. Why?
If I knew about the weather before I came, I would have stayed in Lebanon.
Thank you for listening to my Berta beginning. The podcast was made possible thanks to funding from TELUS STORYHIVE. My name is Mystique Mahoza, and this episode was produced and edited by Osaramen Irete, researched by Berta. The podcast was also made with the support of the National Screen Institute and our mentor, Kim Ann Johnson. Follow the team on Instagram at We're Here Too for more updates on the podcast and information on other projects. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to the podcast and share. And that's at We're Here Too with underscores separating each word. See you next episode.